And a very good evening to everyone who's viewing this on DeFi Singapore on a Monday night. We are doing this on a non-regular timing per se. The reason is because we have been keeping up with some of our projects itself. And our projects itself, we are calling this a project series where we did an interview with Enjinstarter way back, I think in about 1 month to 5 weeks ago, basically. And joining me for the session, who's going to be hosting is Adele. Hi, Adele.
Hi. Hi, Leslie.
Nice to meet you again. So thanks for coming on board and helping to
joining me.
Yeah.
Session.
I think you got to pause that.
That's me. Yeah, I'm just logging into YouTube to check out who's with us today because we're usually not here.
Yeah, correct. On a Monday itself.
But I hope I think by now, Leslie, kudos to you as well. You've been keeping the DeFi Singapore channel going, since the day one that we talked about it till now, and I think we've built quite a good community, and I'm pretty sure it will grow from here because we have big plans. Leslie and I have big plans for the YouTube channel as well. So if you're hearing this, and we'll keep reminding you guys, join us for whenever, especially if it's a last minute session, we have something good for you, right? True. Is that true?
Yeah, of course, because we did not announce this earlier. So what's going to be happening is for those people who are watching this, and we'll probably do this announcement again. For those who are watching this live, if you guys have any good questions and you ask, we're going to get our CEO from Enjinstarter to actually select the best questions being asked. But so without further ado itself, we will just invite Prakash from Enjinstarter to join us for the session. Hi, Prakash.
Hi, Leslie. Hi, Adele.
Hi, Prakash. Good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to be back here.
Cool. So Adele, you can take it away. Just ask the questions away for Prakash, because the last time where we met, I think even with Wayne as well, we were focusing a lot on the Metaverse. Half of the conversation was on Metaverse, how exciting it was. But the project has also, grown in the last 4 to 5 weeks itself. So we wanted some updates from you guys, from Prakash itself, and then so fire away, Adele. If you have any questions, helping the community to ask, Prakash, this is the best time to ask. Yeah.
Indeed, yes. Okay. All right, Prakash, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Good. Actually, big thank you once again for updating us, and for this impromptu session on a Monday. So since we last, I actually, Leslie and I were discussing a little bit about our last session. It's true. A lot of the talk was about the Metaverse and about NFT, and since then, even more explosions in the space has happened. So I'm sure that there's been more explosions that has happened for Enjinstarter as well. So can you share with us, how has it been since we last caught up? How did it go after your last chat with us here at DeFi Singapore?
Well, to be very honest, I think we were, we started our journey with you guys. You guys were one of the first platforms that we actually came on and shared more about our project. And I think it was kind of like one of our first live interviews that we did. And honestly, I think at that stage, yes, you're right. We were very excited about a lot of things that we were doing, and we spent a lot of time talking about the Metaverse. And of course, we had Wayne on the call, and we were very glad to kind of share that. But honestly, I really have to thank this community a lot, because from the time that we actually did the first session with you guys, I was surprised by the number of people who actually watched the show. A lot of people reached out. A lot of people, indicated interest to actually participate in our project by actually tuning in to your program. I think some tuned in live, some watched the replay, and I think that's the beauty of a YouTube channel, right? And the audience that you guys had reached was beyond Singapore, and I think that's something really, really exciting. So yeah, I think right after we had finished with you guys, we started our roadshow, right? And this time was a very unique roadshow. It's the first time I was doing a roadshow without any face-to-face meetings, and everything was done on Zoom. Everything was done virtually, and it was quite challenging because you couldn't be in a room, you can't be connecting with someone, you can't look at an investor in their eyes and see how excited they are about your project. But honestly, the process, became very, very productive because doing everything virtually became very, very time effective. There wasn't any time loss. We didn't have to focus on catering, hosting countless amount of meals and drinks. This is probably the only roadshow that I've done where I've probably not gained weight, which is actually kind of a good thing. But honestly, it was a very encouraging process. A lot of investors who came in to support us, not just committed funds, but also have given us a whole lot of support in terms in giving us platforms like this to organize AMAs, to organize sessions with their community. Some of them have also managed some of our regional localized communities. And again, this has been a very, very interesting and encouraging journey. Everyone seems to be very committed to make the project a big success so that we can all share this success collectively. And I think that's kind of how I feel the ecosystem has evolved, where everyone is kind of looking at partnering up and working together to actually build this ecosystem collectively, right? In the early days, it was very collective, it was very tribal, like what Leslie will always say, and it was very much like a clan, right? People just did things, and they will only stay with the communities that they're part of. But what I've encountered in the last 4 weeks is that there's a whole lot of collaboration that's out there. Everyone is looking at working together. And I think what's really exciting is the whole blockchain gaming space. It's extremely exciting, and it's got a long way to go. And I guess that's kind of what we're all excited about. So yeah, thank you very much for having me back today and to allow me to share more about our project. But more importantly, let's bring the questions on, right? Adele, over to you.
So, right. So I think earlier we were discussing this as well. I think actually, I remember after the show, some people did reach out to me and asked about how do they get whitelisted. So how has it been? What is the timeline? How is it going for you guys? Can you explain?
what
When is the
we did-
PGE again?
Yeah, so what we actually did, after we had finished with our public sale, we actually started the whitelisting process. And for us as a launchpad, the whitelisting process is very, very crucial because once you get whitelisted with us, you don't just participate, or you don't get a chance just to participate in Enjinstarter sale, but you get to participate in all future sales that actually happen on our launchpad. And why we focus so much on the whitelisting is we want to tell our partners who are the projects that we're going to bring on board onto our platform that they would be able to focus on building a solid campaign while we will focus on bringing a community that has been whitelisted and they are eligible to actually participate in their sale, right? So that's our mantra, that's been our strategy. But of course, what we didn't expect was an overwhelming support or interest in our project, where we had more than 5,000 wallets that were actually whitelisted, right? And of course, we had planned and set aside 500,000 for our public sale, of which 50,000 was for our pre-IDO, which has already been done on Genesis Charts, and it went very successfully. And what's up next? We had allocation of 300,000 for ourselves, and we are working with two partners. One of them is called Starter XYZ, which thankfully is something that came from Leslie's introduction. And we've also got Chain Boost, who's got an allocation of 100K, right? So the allocation on our platform was 300K. and suddenly we are faced with a large community of people who all wanted it, right? And when we announced that it was going to be a first come, first serve sale, we had an avalanche of feedback. I remember calling Leslie late in the night and said, Leslie, bro, what is your advice? Just give me your honest feedback. This is what the community is saying. And to be very honest, the entire team had 2 or 3 days of sleepless nights. We really wanted to find a way to solve it. We listened to everything that the community had said. And we decided that we were actually going to be running a raffle. And we actually gave 600 wallets a guaranteed allocation of $400 each. This would mean that we took away the gas wars. And this would mean that we made sure that real people from our community who had spent time to KYC and to be part of the whitelist will get it, and not bots, right? So these were the 2 main things that we tried to solve. But of course, in any choice that we make, we cannot please everyone, and some people feel it hasn't been great for them. But of course, the only way that we can silence all our critics is to make sure that they get a chance to participate in some of the upcoming projects that we're going to have. And that's kind of what we're going to do. So we're going to have projects on our launchpad starting as early as mid-October. We'll be announcing it soon. Some of you who follow us may have seen some teasers running on our platforms, but that's going to happen soon. But let's bring the attention back to our public sale, right? So that's going to happen now on the 30th on our website. And only the 600 people who have been randomly selected via the raffle will be able to participate. They would be given 24 hours to actually come onto our platform, purchase the tokens, and be part of our public sale. And following that, on the 2nd of October is when the tokens would be made available on the DEX, and that's when we will be distributing the tokens with anyone who had participated in the public sale. So the next 7 days is going to be extremely exciting for the Enjinstarter team. We're not perfect. There are things that we made mistakes, but we're constantly refining as a team. As a community. We've seen a lot of people stepping up to support us in this journey, and we are quite excited to see how things are going to be moving forward from here. And following this sale, we'll start announcing the projects that are actually going to come onto our platform.
Ooh, how exciting!
Yeah, so I just to have a clarification, Prakash. So 600 is out of how many? 5,000 or 6,000 that you mentioned?
That's right.
Was it?
So it's 5,100.
Plus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we ran a live raffle draw. We put them into a tool, and then it kind of generated out. We tried to make it as fair as possible. There was no favor. There was
so it randomized basically for that, and so these 600 are assured in terms of their allocation for your event on there's going to be 30th. Okay, 30th of September, right?
That's right.
Okay, so I'm going to just put it up here. 30th September is going to be the public sale, right?
Yeah.
Did I get it right? Public sale?
Okay. That's right.
But only that 600 people can participate, right?
That's right.
So what happens to the rest of the 5,000, like the 4,000 plus? Are you saying that they have the opportunity for other projects that's going to be listing on Enjinstarter?
Yeah. So we're going to start by firstly airdropping $10 worth of EGS tokens to everyone who actually was whitelisted. So no one walks away empty-handed. And by having $10 worth of our tokens, they become part of our community. And from then forth, once we start introducing the various ways that they can actually participate in future sales, they would actually already be a part of it, and it will make things a lot easier for them.
Okay, so airdrops of $10 worth of EGS tokens to the wallets that did not get whitelisted.
Yeah, and that would actually happen at the end of the process, right? So once the those that participated in the public sale, once all their tokens have been unlocked in 30 days, we would airdrop $10 worth of our tokens into all those that actually participated.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. I think that's a great information for the community, specifically
Yeah.
when you have to handle on Telegram group. The questions that comes and arise for it. I remember Prakash when you messaged me, I was like, "Wow, that's a good problem that you have." To
Yep,
be honest, on
yep,
the project side itself. So we kind of brainstorm for I think at least a group 1 hour just on
that's
messaging
right.
each other, like what's the best way to satisfy our community members basically. And it's good news that at this point of time, after our whole 2017 era that we came from, the ICO days, basically, but these days we there is a whole paradigm shift in terms of how to, even project owners need to handle the communities per se as well. So
Agree.
on that note, I think that's really something that Prakash really took to heart and really asked me heavy questions, to be honest. When we had a conversation, it was like, yeah, but I need to resolve this. I want to make sure that they are taken care of. So yeah, so thank you, Prakash, for messaging that.
Oh no,
And
thanks for
it
your
was,
time. I
yeah,
think it was like a Saturday, right?
yeah, it was a
When I
Saturday
reached out and
morning or
you
something like that.
were very
Yeah,
responsive. I think thankfully you weren't conducting classes that Saturday.
yeah,
But yeah, that's why we actually value partners like yourself, and our partnerships are always meant to be long term, right? It's not
yeah,
just
yeah.
transactional, but it's also something that we build and learn from each other and kind of support each other
True.
as we move along in this journey.
Well, we will
Yep.
be asking you about your partnerships. But before that, I think, Leslie, do you want to leave that information about the $10 airdrop for a little bit longer? It kind of appeared
Okay.
very briefly. There you go. So that our community is aware. And maybe, Prakash, do you want to let the community know what is the main utility function for EJS? So let's say I only have $10 worth of
Yeah,
EJS. I don't believe I only have
yeah.
that. But if somebody were to just have this one $10 airdrop, what's the main utility and what can they do after?
So eventually, I think to participate in any upcoming sales on our platform, you will need to be able to hold EGS tokens participate, right? But we would be having a whole range of other activities where the community can participate in a whole range of ways to also earn allocations beyond staking or beyond holding onto our tokens. We are looking at gamification to allow people to actually earn allocations. I think that's one way that we're trying to be different as a launchpad. It can be seen as a way where you're actually playing to actually earn allocations. So it brings in a whole new level of gamification, and this also allows us to kind of flatten the community so that more people can participate. It does not just favor the whales, or it does not just favor people who have funds, but the lower community can also come. They can contribute time, they can contribute their talent, and they can contribute other abilities to actually start earning our tokens, and also using that to actually earn allocations into upcoming projects.
So
And as
this
a
is
launchpad, our main aspiration is to be able to bring the best projects that we can get onto our platform and bring that to our community, right? We're in a time where getting allocations is very, very difficult. That's what we're striving for. And that's what we're going to build this community to become.
So are there any teasers? This is where I'm going to start digging. Are there any projects that we can look forward to or any partnerships that you can reveal today?
Well, okay, so we've kind of come out with a teaser. We have not mentioned much. We're preparing kind of like a full marketing and publicity drive for them, especially because they are our first project. We're definitely, want to put in a lot of effort to make sure. But if you check through Twitter, you will be able to see a game with very, very cool graphics. When we saw it, we were really excited. and they have actually found a way to incorporate a whole lot of DeFi into the gameplay, and they are currently, have started a teaser campaign where they've gotten beta users onto their platform, and the response has been pretty good. All I can say is that give us a few more days. We will make that announcement officially.
Right.
But in terms of partnerships, I think what's a very important partnership that we like to share that we've been doing is actually the partnership that we have with both Chainboost as well as Starter.xyz. And this is a kind of a way that we're trying to show that even as a launchpad, we want to partner, we want to bring together more communities. We get exposed to more communities, and more communities get to participate with us. And this is the approach that we're going to be doing with all other projects that we'll be doing. We'll bring them to more than one launchpad. We will show them ways that they can actually, get this amplification by actually partnering up with as many launchpads as possible. And we will continue to find more launchpad partners, whether they are gaming focused or not. We'll find a way to actually add value. It could be a case for us to help projects to be cross-chain. It could be a way for us to help some of these projects get a global exposure. So I guess that's one of the key partnerships that we definitely want to focus on, and we'll be building on this moving forward.
So Prakash, that means to say any projects that wishes to launch on Enjinstarter, is it a primary focus that you guys want to bring them and lead them into Enjin's space, the protocol that's going to be backed on that? Is that primarily the vision of Enjinstarter? Maybe you can explain a little bit on that.
Sure.
So that the communities can understand that that's actually your the wave that you're going to be moving forward.
Sure. So Enjin's been the earliest pioneer in the blockchain gaming space. They've built a whole lot of infrastructure in blockchain gaming. And I would say the next 6 months is going to be extremely exciting from the Enjin ecosystem perspective, right? Max, the CEO, has tweeted out that Q4 is going to be their most defining moment because they are actually rolling out a version 2.0 of the wallet. For the community that doesn't know, the current wallet allows you to actually hold NFTs and all your digital assets in a single place, and it also allows you to actually distribute NFTs in a very cost-effective manner, right? So with a lot of projects that we are speaking to, getting them exposed to the Enjin ecosystem, especially from an NFT perspective, is our primary value add. And that's the way that we're looking at value adding to a lot of projects. But we are still very early. Enjinstarter's early in our journey, and we are also awaiting a lot of new things to be released from Enjin's perspective. There's JumpNet, which is going to have a whole lot of new features being rolled out, and of course Infinity, which will be rolled out early next year. So while we are actually building and preparing for all that, we are engaging with the community. We are working with projects who are also launching in other chains. But eventually we'll find ways to expose them to the Enjin ecosystem. We'll find ways to actually introduce them to not just the Enjin infrastructure, but also to work with Enjin partners to invest and to accelerate their project within our ecosystem.
Nice. Oh, so there's even a accelerator fund for on Enjin, quote unquote, if they find favor with Enjin for that matter.
Definitely. I think even as Enjinstarter, we typically do a small investment, and if the project is of value, we'll definitely introduce them to our partners in Enjin, as well as a whole lot of other funds who have invested in us and who've also indicated an interest in GameFi. And I think that's an area where everyone is currently, spending a lot of energy, both time, money, and effort. And I think it's also attracting a lot of new people into the space. And reflecting back at the early days of the ICO movement, I think gaming and blockchain gaming, especially projects that are already launching a beta, or using NFTs as a means to create engagement before the actual game gets launched. The waiting period between the time the token gets sold to the time that the community gets to participate in the project gets shortened. So everyone's attention is quite acute. Everyone is now participating very actively. And that's where we feel that this would be a trend that actually takes us through to the next, decade or even further.
Nice. Cool.
So
Adele, you have
for the uninitiated, so somebody pretty new to the space, but wants to join the Enjinstarter community, and earlier you mentioned get the airdrop of the $10 EJS. What else can they do? Where can they go to actually partake in some of your activities?
Sure. So
Like
again,
Discord
we closed our whitelist, a couple of weeks back, but a lot of people started learning about us only very recently. And to keep them engaged, we are running a few campaigns. We have campaigns that we have partnered up. So one very exciting partnership that we have is with the BitBoy crew, and they are one of the largest YouTube crypto influencers, and they've got an exciting NFT project known as the Pluto Alliance. Very excited about the project. Been talking a lot about it to people that I've been meeting. And we partnered with them, and we are going to be supporting BitBoy crew with that. And we are running a Gleam campaign at this point of time where people can actually participate to actually win allocations. We are also running other campaigns with other KOLs. Some of it is open. You can check it out and join our Telegram community. Come and participate. You'll be one of the first few to be notified there. And thanks to Leslie for kind of sharing our link tree. We're doing as much as we can. As we are speaking, my colleagues are hosting one of our angel investors, Kelly Chu, on a Enjinstarter Saloon. We would be hosting events on the Metaverse this week. We would be doing things like a town hall. We would be doing an after party in the Metaverse. And of course, all this will be led by our Chief Metaverse Officer, the guy that you guys met the last time, Wayne Cheong. And again, these are ways that we're trying to stay engaged during a time where we are all in this extended lockdown. Singapore today, we went into day one of home-based learning and day one of a new phase. Again, we had planned so much. We were going to do a movie screening at the projector, which my brother runs.
Wow. Okay.
And, we were going to bring the community in, maybe show a movie that's around the metaverse. But again, a lot of that has got to wait. A lot of that is going to move online. But that also means that we actually become a lot more inclusive. We can connect with people from all around the world. And that would actually allow us to actually bring a lot more people to become part of our community. Do join us in some of these upcoming events that we are planning in the days to come.
So the announcement will be primarily made in Telegram?
Currently is there. I think we cover all platforms. We are in Discord. Twitter's been very effective for us. That's one of the big questions that the community has been asking us. We made sure that our Telegram group was organic. There's no or minimal bots. And the only bot that you see there is our own bot to make sure that real people are coming in. We didn't do any airdrops to grow our community, and so a lot of people have been asking us, why is your community on Telegram only 5,000, yet So many people actually got into your whitelist. But that's because of the collective or cumulative community that we have. And we're starting to see a lot of engagement on Twitter. I think Twitter is becoming a lot more important for us. And I think, to be very honest, I think one of the most painful things that we've been experiencing, especially in the last 10 days, is all the different scams that we have been getting. And it all happens on Telegram, right? People have been impersonating me. People have been, we've got like full blown announcement channels where they've added people from our community.
Oh,
We've heard of a few people who have actually lost money,
Oh
and it
dear.
really saddens us to hear that has happened.
how did
And I
they
think
lose money? They thought that they were talking to someone from the team, and then they transferred.
yeah, so they said, oh, suddenly there's a community sale that's happening, and
Oh wow.
people actually transferred money over.
Okay.
I mean, of course, it is the environment that we are operating in. We've spent a lot of time making such announcements, but sometimes at the spur of the moment, something just clicks, and sometimes you may fall for a trap.
Yeah.
And I think in order for the industry to evolve, I think we definitely need to find newer and better ways to kind of prevent this from happening. And I think a lot of it would mean that the infrastructure that we're currently operating on needs to evolve. And I
Yep.
Yeah.
think this is where, with better transparency and better the tools, we can prevent this. But for now, we just have to be extra careful and be very vigilant during this period. But it's,
Sure. I think one of the ways to make sure that community members don't get fall into the wrong scam is by this actual official link below that Prakash has sent.
that's
So
right.
if you click on this, there's no way that somebody can actually falsify their links to the social media channels. The Telegram group is in there. The Twitter is in there. So you get to actually do your due diligence by having a list of of the channels, that the public channels that Prakash has just mentioned.
And
On
but
that
there are all
note,
these DMs happening as well, right? So basically, I believe Enjinstarter, you will, everything has to be, any campaign, any sale will be official. It will
That's
not
right.
be through a random DM.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's
so
make it
some are
very
a few
clear.
tips for our community members, specifically, who get excited by what Prakash has mentioned, to have the opportunity to get the allocation. I think a lot of people are, trying to get their hands on this. I think the reason for that also is because back then in 2020, I think 5 years ago, I think all three of us came from that time as well. Anyway, whenever there was an opportunity, people would jump for that kind of opportunity to be in the allocation in the first place, which it was tough to get back then, for that matter. So but it's good that you do the due diligence, right? In terms of having making sure that not just one social media announcement, is actually all social media announcements should occur as well. It shouldn't be that, and plus, like what Adele has mentioned, shouldn't be a DM, a direct message, or from any one of them. So yeah, thank you for bringing this up. I think although it wasn't on the agenda, but I think it's good that we talk about this.
Yeah.
It's on our channel. That's always the best. And it's always the best when we get new people to come in, even then with updates that's from the project owners themselves, because we just spoke about 2 alphas earlier. So if you guys have been tuning in, you have caught the little bit of what Prakash has just mentioned to you guys. And if you guys really are sharp enough, you will know what's the specific 2 projects that has the opportunity to go into for the matter. So I won't share so much, but
Right.
we'll go
Leslie
back
always
to
does this.
Yeah.
And then that's when I will be like, well, wait, what? Then let's
You
make
did
it very clear. I speak on behalf of the layman. So
Right.
there is maybe a game coming. And if you
all
want,
right. One of
No.
them that he mentioned very specifically, right? To me, in my opinion, as an investor, right? Basically, you should be looking at Engine, right? Because it is going to be the upcoming in the next 3 to 6 months. Prakash, if you can try to let's get a CEO the next time around, of Engine to come on and have a session with us, right?
2.0.
And then we can hear more, right, based on that. So that is what I gleaned and took from him based on what his projects association with Engine for that matter. Again, disclaimer, right? I didn't say my disclaimer earlier. So anything that's got to do with cryptocurrency is not regulated at this point of time. So do your own due diligence, guys. You have to have the risk appetite for unregulated digital assets like cryptocurrencies itself. So if you want to dabble into it, if you don't really fully understand of it, I'm going to shield myself now. Come for my class. yeah.
That's true. I mean, like we at DeFi Singapore, we never ever give any financial advice. Everything is actually mainly from an educational point of view. I took Leslie's class myself to start. Sorry, Prakash, you wanted to say something?
No, I think it's all about sharing. I think even why I brought up about the scams and the negativity that's happening, it's so that we can share, right? And by sharing, I feel that's the best way that we can spread the word and get more people to actually understand it. And while it's unfortunate, it's a better way that we can actually protect more people from losing, right? Because I always feel, when you lose money in crypto, we lose 10 people, right? Because you're going to tell, that negative story to 3 people, and they're going to tell to at least another 3 people. So the community loses 10 people, right? But if we do it right, and people follow the steps, a lot of things that Leslie shares in his lessons, and does it or do it in the right manner, you benefit. A lot more people are actually going to benefit from that.
Right. So I have a couple of questions as well so I agree with you. We're all about DeFi Singapore is about educating, about building a community, and I have a lot of fun building this community over the past few years. Actually, I kind of laid low for a while, and then Leslie dragged me back out the way how like Dunstan dragged him back out. So this is like a ripple effect. But I have a question because we mentioned earlier, our last session, we spoke a lot about the metaverse. And I actually didn't know that your brother runs the projector. As an actor, that's really exciting news. So I have spoken to a lot of people in the creative industry as well. And what they gleaned from our last session is that Enjinstarter is only interested in the metaverse. That's not true, right? I'm pretty sure.
So blockchain gaming, it's our primary. But we strongly believe that the metaverse is going to change the way that we all live, work, and play. So look at the way that we're building communities, right? In the past, we'll host events, we'll host parties, we'll host networking events. We can't do any of that now, but we can now meet in the metaverse. We can experience. You can come as you are. You can come as an avatar. You can come as yourself. But the whole experience becomes very immersive. And soon, with some of the technologies that are coming and some of the hardware that's going to be made available in a cost-effective manner, all of us would be using AR, VR in a whole range of ways. I believe my kids will study using AR, VR. I think they'll be having a lot of fun playing games on AR, VR. And there's going to be a whole lot of projects that are going to be built on this, right? Again, not ready to share too much details, but there's a project that we're speaking to, which is a Metaverse project, which is very interesting because they, focus a lot on minorities. They are minority-driven, and they are built by minorities, and they're creating an environment where minorities can come in and engage in a very interactive manner, right? And I came back, I had finished that call with my wife. I finished that call and I had a chat with my wife. And my wife works a lot with social enterprises. And then she got really excited, right? She said, you know what? I don't think you've ever thought about it, but the metaverse could be a place where people with disabilities can actually now come in there and participate and interact with us without being
like
judged,
that.
and we actually get to hear their ideas, hear their thoughts, and actually now we can actually create this place, where we are all kind of valued for our ideologies, for the things that we're doing, and not for our appearance, right? So
Mm.
I think, yeah, there's a long way to go when it comes to the metaverse, and we're definitely looking for projects in that space. And again, the fact that we are focused on the engine ecosystem, they've supported many metaverse projects, and they've also enabled many metaverse projects to be moving digital assets from one environment to another. And I think that's kind of where we feel the future is going to be.
So can you tell us? I know you've mentioned, your partnership with Engine. Is there anything else you can tell us about the relationship between Enjinstarter and Engine? Like, how closely do you guys work? I remember previously it's not an exclusive partnership, and because in the blockchain world, nothing is really exclusive.
Sure. Yeah. So they are our seed investors, and being an investor, beyond financial support, we are aligning ourselves to their product roadmaps, and for us to be building more infrastructure on the engine ecosystem, so that we can be that bridge for projects. And in order for us to do that, we'll need a lot of support from Engine, and I think that's primarily where the focus is. We are focused on building that ecosystem. We are speaking to projects, and Engine has been introducing projects to us. We've been speaking to them to be a friend, to find what are the various ways that we can support them, right? Whether they're going to launch it on Enjinstarter or not, we found ways to actually work with many of these projects to provide them whatever support that we can, so that when they are ready to be launched, hopefully they will work with us and they will be on our launchpad. So that's the way that we are working, and it's all focused on ecosystem development.
Right. So I'm asking this also because I'm going to mention this director by name, JD, because he was the one who told me, oh, I think Enjinstarter is just mostly focused on the metaverse. And I don't think that's true. So asking on behalf of all the creative people out there, we've previously spoken to the general community interested in the space. Now, for people who are creative, whether or not you are already a creator, how can they? Is Enjinstarter ready for conversations for people
Yes,
to
we
pitch
are. Yeah.
ideas
So
to?
beyond blockchain gaming and beyond metaverses, we are looking at creators of all form, right? And if they have original content, which they are
NFTs.
looking, NFTs come in, and that's kind of one key value proposition that we will have. And again, Engine has been the earliest pioneer in NFTs. They are the creators of the ERC 1155 standard, and on Efinity, they are also creating the Para token, which means that the NFTs can be cross-chain compatible, right? So yeah, we're speaking to comic artists, we're speaking to writers, and again, some of these guys are actually, they feel a need to embrace this technology. They feel a need to participate in this ecosystem, but they may not be ready with a full-blown project. So internally, we call them the Enjinstarter Sparks, where we are bringing these guys into our community. We're introducing them to where this world is going, but we are acknowledging that they're not ready for full-blown project, but we are encouraging them to participate with us, to see the value that we're bringing to other projects. And in some cases, what we're trying to do is we're trying to integrate them into some of these larger projects, so they get to participate, they get to learn what the potential of the technology is, and then moving forward, it becomes a lot easier for them.
Okay, so asking for another friend, this other friend is actually just me. Where would we, if I'm a creator, and no, Leslie doesn't know this yet because I haven't had a chance to tell him, but I am trying to mint my own tokens based on my book. But for someone like me or a filmmaker out there or a writer or a comic artist, if they wanted to connect, how can they reach? Is it the same? Where would they reach you?
Yeah, come and reach us. Come and meet our community, guys. We've got
Telegram, what's the
new
best
programs.
platform?
Yeah, we've got new programs that will be rolling out pretty soon. One of it is our virtual accelerator, where people can actually come in and get feedback and just kind of bounce ideas. So yeah, definitely reach out, have a chat. We'll always be happy to share as much as we can, and find a way to support you, or find a way to connect you with someone that would be able to kind of bring this idea of yours to the next level, or hopefully we can bring together a group of people to kind of support you with this.
Right. And so, like, what is your thought now? Because there's so many aspects of it. Right? So for a while, NFTs dominated the scene, and then now NFT games, so still kind of related to NFTs. And it kind of seems like this past weekend, DeFi is coming back up strong.
Yeah.
Right? So interesting. What
Yeah,
are
I think DeFi and gaming will play a very, very strong part
definitely
moving forward. But I think the most important thing to be really very mindful of really is NFTs, right? What we're seeing at this point of time is just the beginning of a movement. With a lot of this profile picture NFTs, we feel that it's actually a journey into the metaverse, where a lot of these PFP NFTs would actually be our representation in the metaverse, right? So I was fortunate. I did a social experiment. I participated in a NFT project known as a Lazy Lion, and I did it purely learning.
You did the Lazy Lion project?
Yeah, I honestly I got in because it was reaching National Day, and I wanted a lion for my profile on Twitter. Woke up at 4 a.m., minted, was fortunate, got one, spent something like 200. A few days ago, it was like 2.5 ETH. And I think I had bids for like 8,000. My wife can't come to terms. She's like, sell it, right? But it started getting me into this thought process where actually what I've realized, the community in the Lazy Lion is very, very passionate, right? A lot of them are creators. Adele is something that you should look for. And in Discord, they are always constantly exchanging ideas. And for me, it was this energy which I am drawn to, right? Where people are exchanging ideas. It's not necessarily monetary, but it's people kind of working together to kind of advance certain things. Of course, at some point, it starts to become, financially driven. But the creative energy that is in that space is phenomenal. And I think that's kind of where a lot of these PFP projects will go in. And eventually, if I'm going to create an avatar to enter into a metaverse, I probably create something which came from one of these communities, right? So I feel that NFTs are in a very, very early part of this journey. But what I feel NFTs are going to do in this cycle is the value transfer, right? Value can be created and transferred effectively. And I dare say that it's a lot more clearer to the consumer than what tokens represented, right? In the past, especially in the first era, we all knew that the token would be the store of value and the transfer of value. But unfortunately, everyone wanted to hold on to it. And without circulation, most projects fail, right?
Yes.
But with NFTs, I think we're starting to see a whole new way of value transfer. And we're also starting to see very interesting projects. Like I think in Thailand, they have just licensed a project where they are tokenizing using NFTs, real estate, and soon it will be any physical project. It could be vintage car, it could be art, it could even be a clubhouse, right? As in a physical clubhouse
Yeah.
at some point. So I think the journey has just begun. And I think from a creator's point of view, Adele, I think what's very, very crucial, I built my career in the advertising space. And I would say the creator never benefited, right? It was all the middlemen that actually made the most amount of money. But today, I think the creator has the ability to control and also be able to reap the amount of value that he's actually putting into that. And I think that's the very exciting and powerful thing, especially in a time like today.
Yes, I agree with you. Like, I am blown away. When I first came into the space, I bought into I read a book that Dunstan Theo wrote, and then I drank that Kool-Aid, but
Okay.
never did I know or expect that we would see this day where NFTs would actually benefit my career as a creator. I really appreciate what it's doing, although I still make fun of why I'm like JPEGs, why. And then I saw that Neopets was launching NFTs. And then I was like, take my ether. Like, take it. It's actually built on Solana, but
Okay.
So now I get it. And I'm excited to see what's gonna come from the NFT space, and of course what you guys are going to be doing with all of this. The NFTs, the metaverse, the games. Gosh.
You know,
I
but
think a lot of artists, right, are starting to see what the value that NFTs
Yes.
and metaverses will bring. I think a lot of artists, end up being very burnt because they have to go touring, they have to create albums, and they have to do a whole lot of things. But now you can actually create a digital twin, which can be programmed to do a whole range of things, and that can be a digital twin in the metaverse, and that would create an additional source of value creation, right? I think what's his name? Snoop Dogg is now doing it,
Oh yes.
and I
Yes.
think
on
he gets
Sandbox.
it right. He sees where this is going. He's been an NFT collector, and now that he's created or creating this project on Sandbox, I think it's going to be very, very exciting.
It was sold out within seconds, bro.
I'm sure.
When I saw it, I
I'm not,
was like,
I'm not going to
what's
waste gas
happening?
on it, bro.
Not gonna waste.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
still remember
noticing.
Adele when we were talking about it almost 1 year ago. I think specifically it's in September itself with Steve itself. We
Yes,
were
we've seen.
joking around with this thing called the Stickman as an NFT. If you guys watched the
So
very first
angry.
one.
So angry.
And
That made me so angry.
yeah, and in Adele's mind, it's like, who in the world would just draw this? And true enough, I think recently they had this thing just that they call the slinky or
Yes.
or this
the
marker
slinky.
thingy. That's it. So previously there was just an upgrade of a simple child's drawing of on your Corel Draw, and then they just launched this on OpenSea. It was that easy. So I think OpenSea did a really fantastic job of bringing the go-to market, bringing people straight into the market, having the ability like what Prakash mentioned to have the value transfer as well. So interestingly
Look
enough,
at
it's
what
all
Gary Vaynerchuk did with VFriends, right? It's all scribbles, doodles, but it ended up being worth so much because it was a key to him, right? Everyone wants his time, and the only way that you can access him is by owning the
The
NFT,
doodle.
and it meant that you can attend his event. You can get coaching with him, and the value for that just exploded,
Right.
right? So I
Right.
guess more and more people will start to realize it's not just about art, but it's what it represents and what it presents to the owner, right? It becomes a form of fan engagement. It's a means to actually do behind the scenes, and a whole lot of that will come about.
I think it's amazing. It has only been 1 year, Leslie's right. And in 1 year, we still haven't finished dealing with home-based learning or not. But we have seen NFTs move from Stickman with his stick doing very rude things, going for 0.3 ETH, and that made me so angry. To now, amazing things in the NFT space. Stickman really pisses me off. Yeah. So it's
Cool.
I think it's the speed of things in the space is insane.
I mean, that's technology, right? Once it hits a certain tipping point, and once the energy flows in, and I usually see energy not just from a monetary perspective, but also from an attention perspective. And a couple of months ago, every call that I was getting into with any of these crypto VCs, the main complaint that they had is they were either spending too much time flipping JPEGs or spending too much time bidding for an NFT only to be outbidded at the last minute. Then I started to click and I said, okay, something big must be happening, and we started paying more attention to it.
Right.
Oh, is that how you got Enjinstarter working? As in
No, this was more recent.
okay.
We got Enjinstarter going after I read the Infinity white paper, right?
I see.
I was introduced to that early this year. I read it, and then I said, boom, this is going to be the future. Started looking into it a lot more, saw an opportunity with a launchpad, and that's where we are today.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. I noticed that we don't have a lot of sorry.
Oh wow, yeah, that's true.
A lot of
yeah, so for some reason maybe they're not used to a Monday session instead of
so
Wednesday
let's
session.
think of something else to do with, because we don't want to waste that giveaway.
No, it's with you guys. You can decide what you want to do with your
We can
community.
always run a campaign. It's okay.
Let's run something
worries.
fun with Enjinstarter.
Yeah,
we can.
but we need the wallet addresses soon, and we will need to onboard them officially. But yeah, I think it's for the community. It's with you guys. You guys can decide how you guys want to do it, and you can just let us know after that.
Cool. Any summary, in terms of Adele, what we want to summarize for today's session? I mean, we've caught up with Enjinstarter, with Prakash, the CEO of Enjinstarter. We've listened to his his aspects on what Enjinstarter is as a good refresher. And I do think this video is going to help, for long term as well. So in terms of where the early beginnings. I'm looking forward to the 1 year later, and hey guys, we were talking about this again, and then we'll see where Enjinstarter is gonna be. It sounds very exciting, Prakash. I know, as much as concurrently we're running, startup projects, almost the same time. There was such a coincidence, basically. So, if you guys want to find out
two things, right? Let's just run through very quickly. 30th September is your public sale for the 600 people who were very lucky. And then your TGE is October 2nd. Right. And then when will the airdrops be for the $10 worth of EJS?
They will be announced soon, but it'll be 30 days after the TGE.
Okay.
So that will be in November 2nd, around that period.
First and 2nd November we'll be doing it.
So that's for
we'll be officially announcing that.
Okay, that's for the Enjinstarter community. And then for all the creative people out there like myself, you know where to find them. We probably will all be wanting to talk to you guys soon. And you're open for that.
I mean, honestly, we could always do a smaller session. We could bring in more people from the creative space, share with them what's out there, find ways to collaborate. I'll be happy to also reach out to you if I know of projects that we could get you supported. But yeah, any support that you need, feel free to give us a shout and let us know.
Actually, Leslie, maybe that's what we could do. I think there are not just creators. I think brands as well are interested to work with creators, and a platform like Enjinstarter would be a perfect support to that kind of collaborations and conversations.
Definitely,
especially when they have an accelerator in their bags, when you can actually tap onto their resources itself. I do think that's a good way to approach the matter. We can actually organize a special event just for industry specific people. That is one good alternative that we can actually do. So stay tuned, guys, on DeFi Singapore itself. This is Leslie from DeFi Singapore, Adele from DeFi Singapore, and and our special guest for today, Prakash from Enjinstarter. So you guys, you've seen the link. You've seen, you can actually get your information from there. If this is your first time on the show itself, do come like and subscribe and share, our social media channels. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next session. The next session will be on Wednesday. There is another project that we are interviewing again. So stay tuned on Wednesday itself.
I don't know it yet.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned that. I'm trying to get more confirmation. So we are also being approached by quite a number of projects. So we will be showcasing some of the projects. Bearing in mind, please take note as of date, if all these projects are not paying us, there's no promotion whatsoever. So I have to put the disclaimer out there. Basically, if it's going to be a paid one, it will be.
We will let you know. Yeah.
Yes, we will let you know. All right. So this is just a community support for the project that we think has a good potential for us to grow. So that's all we have for tonight. Thank you to my guest for tonight.
My pleasure, bro. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Adele. Thanks, Sasi.
And on that note, we'll say goodbye.